We're at Whitewebbs, hence Whitewebbs Oak. Unfortunately, this tree is now becoming infamous for all the wrong reasons, and you can probably see why. This is a 6-metre girth, 300 to 500 year old ancient oak tree. And someone has completely taken off the entire crown and actually come right down to leaving 4 or 5 metres of the tree, which would have been 15 to 20 metres tall. We are still trying to find out who cut this tree, and there is now a police investigation. It should never have been touched. If it was going to be, it should be by a professional who knows what they're doing and knows that this is irreplaceable habitat. There are only probably 60 of these in London, probably only a few thousand in the whole of the UK. They are internationally important because of the habitat they contain. This is a criminal offence.
This Tuesday, my little 4-year-old son and I, Dylan, turned up for our usual weekly walk, and we arrived at the scene where this incredible oak has been felled. I just couldn't believe it. The biggest one in the whole area. It felt so calculated.
I live locally, I grew up here. This has become a place of sanctuary. I feel very connected to this space on quite a few different levels. It's become a place of recreation. I run here. It's somewhere that I get to learn, coming on the regular walks led by experts and ecologists. I've been able to understand more about the richness and the value of this space.
We've got the most incredible wildlife here. Abandoned golf bunkers full of sand, which are now full of mining bees, some quite scarce species also. Increasing populations of small heath butterflies, which are nationally scarce. We've got a vast amount of open grassland, surrounded by ancient woodland tracts. We've got 5 ponds. 3 of them have got great crested newts in. We've got grass snakes breeding, kestrels, 60 to 80 species of bird recorded here, records of purple emperors, water voles, badgers, 9 species of bat, which is an incredible number.
This is the Toby Carvery site, which is leased from Enfield to the Toby Carvery. The wider Whitewebbs Park, Tottenham Hotspurs have sought a lease from Enfield Council to develop into a women's training ground. Tottenham Hotspur also own 57% of the company that owns the Toby Carvery.
I appreciate the need for women's football to grow and flourish, and I'm fully in support of that. I just feel like there has to be another way that this place can stay and continue to thrive, and women's football can also continue to thrive. It's too precious.
This would be the beginning of what would happen in terms of ecological destruction. They're looking to install another 10, 11 pitches, contrasting what's there at the minute, which is an incredible mixture of meadows, standalone trees, scrub islands, this whole mosaic of habitat in Whitewebbs Park that has really expanded in many, many beautiful ways over the last 4 or 5 years. We've got this incredible site, fully accessible to the public, but we're at serious risk of losing a large amount of access to local green space here.
What happens with really old trees is they decay from the inside out. That's not a risk issue because they don't need all that internal wood. They only need the external 20 or 30 years of sapwood. So all that wood on the inside is surplus and gets recycled by fungi. And there are 1,700 species of invertebrate which are dependent on decaying wood. And many of those species are very rare, and the very rare ones live in this. They live in ancient trees.
People are angry. This is a hugely controversial plan that would take away public land and give it to a private business for a very, very small amount of money. A company, a business that is very, very wealthy and have broken many promises to local people on their previous developments. Enfield Council are reported to be around £2 billion in debt. The deal, £2 million over 25 years, equates to roughly £80,000 a year. So on a financial level, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Despite what some of the Spurs ecological kind of suggestions and proposals entail, ecologically, environmentally, it would be an absolute disaster to lose what we've got here. It sets an incredibly dangerous precedent.
The threat of a large portion of the land being leased, it makes me question who this land should be managed by, and it should be people who care about and see the value of the wildlife and the ancient trees that are growing here. So it does make me nervous to think about further areas of the space being leased out, and just shows how much more focus and attention on protecting these spaces is needed so that these sort of things don't happen in the future.
The Enfield tree officer has now issued a tree preservation order on what's left of this tree. It wouldn't have made much difference had the tree preservation order already been there, because whoever did this did not have authority to do it because they didn't own the tree. If anyone was concerned about this tree, what they should have done was to approach the Enfield tree officer and say, this is my concern. This tree stands about 15 metres from the car park of the Toby Carvery. It's got an enormous girth. Trees like that don't fall over even in hurricanes. Anything falling off it isn't going to make it to the car park, and we're in a very, very low use area. So there is no safety issue here. Someone happened to be passing when the work was done, and there are photographs of the actual tree surgery vehicle, which was unmarked. It doesn't have the name of a company. Why do you turn up in a vehicle that's got no logo to cut down a really, really important tree? It just smells wrong. It's incumbent on both Enfield Council and the Metropolitan Police to prosecute whoever destroyed this ancient tree and all its irreplaceable habitat. Here we are back at Whitewebbs Oak. We now know that Toby Carvery admit that they destroyed this tree. Or rather, what they say is their contractor destroyed this tree. Their contractor says that Toby Carvery asked them to destroy the tree. Toby Carvery say their contractor told them it was dangerous. So we know who did it, but we're still struggling with the reasons why. And we don't really know who made the decision. And Toby Carvery decided to keep quiet about it for 10 days. They only admitted they'd done it when they were contacted by a local reporter. And then they told the local reporter the tree was dead. Well, there's green leaves on it, and most people are competent to be able to tell that something with green leaves on it isn't dead. What we have here is a national tragedy, an international tragedy, because Britain has 80% of the ancient trees of Europe and has an international responsibility for protecting these trees. We know the culprits. The question is what's going to be done about it, and what the Met Police have decided is it's a civil matter. They've decided that they don't want to be involved. They need to get off their arses and do something. Ferrell Clark, the MP for the area, needs to speak to the Home Secretary. Sadiq Khan needs to speak to the Met Commissioner. This is the worst case of tree felling I've ever seen. It's been completely butchered. The Sycamore Gap tree was valued at £600,000. This is much, much more valuable than the Sycamore Gap tree. It's got tons of habitat value that tree hasn't got, and it's much older. This is £1 million tree. You seriously telling me that a contractor can turn up, make up some story about it being dangerous, destroy it, and no one's going to do anything? Really? The media have got hold of the story now, and there's a lot of interest. The local reporter, James Cracknell from the Enfield Dispatch, has done a great job. He interviewed the people at Toby Carvery who said the tree was dead, and he's published that that's not true. National media are interested. ITV News, Channel 4 News ran it last night, Sky News ran it last night. I've spoken to the Sunday Times, BBC News, the Guardians run it. So this is a massive story. And it should be a massive story because that is a national disgrace.